Hello everyone, I'm going to be talking about training for a marathon. But first of all, I want to talk to you about cell respiration and the science behind training. So how it basically works is it is C6H12O6, which is basically glucose, plus O6 oxygens is equal to 6 CO2 molecules plus 6 H2O molecules plus ATP in the form of energy. When glucose goes into your body, it is solid. Plus, with the oxygen that goes into body, liquid. Gas. Equals to when you exhale CO2 as a gas, you also exhale H2O or water vapor, which is a gas. And energy just makes movement of the muscles. And this is an example of a glucose macromolecule. So this is an example of a aerobic reaction. And an example of an anaerobic reaction would be with no oxygen at all and producing lactic acid at the end. So now I want to look at I did in class about burning foods and finding their energy contents in kilojoules per gram. What I really did is I took 4 different types of food: a biscuit, a chip, a popcorn, and a piece of muffin. The objective was to burn them all and to see which of them produced the most energy. It turned out that the piece of the muffin, was the one with the highest energy. This is because it was the only food that had sugar in it, thus burning faster. This is the same process that your muscles do. Like when their energy goes to your muscles, then when you exercise, you burn that food, the glucose that's stored. So now let's look at hydration plans. So I'm going to talk about isotonic drinks, hypertonic drinks, and hypotonic drinks, and just the differences between the three. Alright, so first of all, isotonic drinks have the same osmolality as body fluids, and I'll explain what osmolality means in a second. Alright, now, so hypertonic drinks are drinks with most sugar in them and with the most carbohydrates, which is also has more particles than blood. And finally, hypotonic is just the opposite of a hypertonic drink. It has low carbohydrates and less particles than blood. Okay, so now I'll get into the problems with drinking too much hypertonic, hypotonic, or isotonic drinks. Imagine this is a cell, and now imagine that this is the bloodstream. So when you have sugar in your system, it will travel all the way through your bloodstream and into the cell. But because so much sugar is getting in, water from inside the cell has to come out, thus reducing the volume of the cell. That's why you should drink water, because if you drink too much hypertonic, you will feel thirsty. This is an example of a hypertonic drink, which has about 300 kilojoules of energy. This is an example of something that you should not drink a lot of, because you need to keep that balance between water and energy drinks, so you have the right amount of glucose, not too much and not too little. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk a bit about osmosis. So basically what osmosis means is when a fluid goes through a superpermeable membrane into a cell, and the concentration of that cell is higher than of the liquid, for example water, thus making the concentrations equal. So now I want to talk about another experiment that I did to do with osmosis. It was a gummy bear and potato experiment. Alright, so this is a gummy bear. Now, in this experiment, I used 2 gummy bears and 2 potatoes. The potatoes were cut out into 1 centimeter cubes for various reasons. And both gummy bears and potatoes were each put into a plastic cup. 1 plastic cup of gummy bear had normal tap water, while the other gummy bear was synced in distilled water, and same thing with the potatoes. Then the cups were left there for 3 days in total. By the end of the 3 days, I found some interesting results, as I every day came back to write results of my observations. But on the second day, the specimens, let's just say, that still had volume were taken out of the water and then put in a new cup, but this time with salt water, and to see what happened. Turns out that by the second day, only the potatoes were in one piece, because the gummy bears had just died. They had dissolved completely. They were just yellow and green liquid. So then, in the third day, it turns out that the potatoes turned black when I first saw them. Now, I had no idea what happened, because I had no idea why they were black. So then I looked on my classmates' potato, and they had the same results, which was very intriguing, because to this point I don't understand. Well, I do, but you get the idea. Now, what happened is that since the potato is a living cell, the salt water actually absorbed all of the water from the potato cells, which is why it was black, and it obviously decreased in volume and in mass. Okay, now finally, an exercise to help you build endurance. But before that, we're not there yet. I'm gonna say how the body reacts to exercise in terms how it affects your heart rate, your breathing, and your sweating. Now, obviously, when you exercise, you need to pump more blood around your body. So the more you exercise, the more your heart rate is going to increase. And that depends on the age of the person. Okay, now, breathing rate. Your breathing rate is also going to increase as well, probably the same rate as your heart. That is because of if you remember the equation, you need glucose and oxygen, and you need to breathe in to get oxygen. So you're going to waste more oxygen than you gain, so you have to breathe faster and faster every time. Now, sweating. When you exercise, as also from the equation, you lose water. I said gas, but also liquid, which is the sweating part. Now, fatigue. Your whole body gets tired, and if you don't have any glucose, then you use up lactic acid, which is an anaerobic respiration, and your muscles will get tired. Eventually, your whole body will get tired, and the pain could take a long time to go away. I'm gonna tell you an exercise to build up endurance. So, as you can see from my drawing here, which isn't is the drawing of a person doing a lunge. Now, it is recommended for an average person to do 30 to 40 seconds of a lunge per leg, and then you repeat it twice, and if you want, you can repeat it more times, but don't do it so much that you get tired. Okay, so now what you should do during a marathon or a race, your muscles get sore and you get tired, the first thing that you should do is stop. If your muscles hurt, you don't want to carry on, so you should stop. Very important. If you have time, take a rest, and if you don't have time, just still take a rest, but a short rest. Then drink. It's important to keep drinking water as you're running, so that you can get water, because as I said earlier, the imbalance of glucose and water can lead to not finishing a race and not having tired muscles. So thank you for listening to this presentation.